I'm making Pokemon teams for a ton of iconic cartoon characters, and today we have SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob's team would be epic, and you know he'd always be ready for a battle. His team would consist of many of his friends, including Tentacruel, who looks just like Squidward, Macargo to honor his snail Gary, Greedent for sandy cheeks, Starmie as a reference to his best buddy Patrick, Kingler for his boss Mr. Krabs, and finally SpongeBob's ace would be Nihil Lego. I'm making Pokemon teams for a ton of iconic cartoon characters, and today we have SpongeBob's best friend, Patrick Star. First off, we're giving him a Crustle because they both live under a rock. Well, of course we're giving him a Starmie because duh. We'll also be giving him some big and dumb Pokemon, Snorlax, Golem, and Quagsire that are just like him. And finally, his ace will be Mega Slowbro. I'm making Pokemon teams for a ton of iconic cartoon characters, and today we have Mr. Tentacles himself, Squidward. We're obviously giving Squidward a Tentacruel, but we'll also give him a Toadscruel for when Squidward is out of water. He'll also have a Probopass, then he'll also have an Amistar and Malamar, and finally his ace is Meloetta. I'm making Pokemon teams for a ton of iconic cartoon characters, and today we have Timmy Turner. Timmy's team would be magical. We'll start off by giving him a male Clefable and a female Wigglytuff, so boom, he's got his two fairies. Also, he'll have a Togepi who's basically just like Poof. Machamp would also be on the team, who's basically Jorgen Von Strangle. Also, I think Mr. Mime would be pretty fitting. And finally, Timmy's ace is Hoopa, because remember that time he basically traveled across the TV multiverse? I'm making Pokemon teams for a ton of iconic cartoon characters, and today we have Jimmy Neutron the Boy Genius. Jimmy's team would include Iron Treads, Magearna, Alakazam, Boltund, Behem, and his ace, Mega Metagross. Does anyone else feel like Jimmy would be good friends with Clemont in the Pokemon world? I'm making Pokemon teams for a ton of iconic cartoon characters, and today we have Danny Phantom. It should come as no surprise that Danny's team will be mostly ghosts. Danny will have a Rotom who could take on many different forms, Frostlass because Danny also has Ice and Ghost powers, Mismagius and Hisuian Zoroark also seem fitting. Danny would also use an Absol to help him track the Ghost Danger. And finally we have Danny's ace, Mega Gengar. I'm making Pokemon teams for a ton of iconic cartoon characters, and today we have Tommy Pickles from Rugrats. First off, we're obviously giving him a Toxel. I'm giving him a Tyrantrum because of his green T-Rex he loves. He'll have a Stoutland as a reference to his dog Spike. I think he'd also use an Electrode because of that ball he loved as a kid. He'll also have a Cinderace because he was a soccer player in high school. And finally his ace will be an Amp Form Toxtricity who could G-Max, because that's the Toxel that's all grown up. I'm making Pokemon teams for a ton of iconic cartoon characters, and today we have Invader Zim. Zim's team would be otherworldly. Starting off with Porygon Z because Zim has some amazing supercomputers. As for the Ultra Beast, I think Naganadel is the most fitting. Also, we'll be giving him a Behem who is of course an alien, as well as Solrock. Then we have Riolu who kind of reminds me of Gur. And finally we'll have Zim's ace, Deoxys. I'm making Pokemon teams for a ton of iconic cartoon characters, and today we have the feline canine little cat dog, Catdog. This team would obviously be half cat and half dog. So I'll give them Meowscarada, Lucario, Incineroar, Lycanroc in his dusk form, Persian, and Smeargle. Not gonna lie guys, this team is pretty good. I'm making Pokemon teams for a ton of iconic cartoon characters, and today we have Jenny, the teenage robot. Jenny's Pokemon team would consist of Rotom, Iron Valiant, Iron Bundle, Iron Moth, Gothitelle, and finally I'm giving her a Ditto because they're both results of experiments and they're both able to shapeshift. I'm making Pokemon teams for a ton of iconic cartoon characters, and today we have Franklin the Turtle. Franklin's team would be slow and steady. He'd use Torterra, Turtonator, Dreadnought, Caracosta, Torkoal, and finally his ace, Mega Blastoise. I'm making Pokemon teams for a ton of iconic cartoon characters, and today we have Avatar Aang. Aang's team would be straight up amazing and really focus on the elements. For water, I'll give him Dracovish as they are both from a different time. For Earth/Ground type, I'll give him Mamoswine, who also kind of reminds me of Appa. For Fire type, I'll give him Ninetales. Also, Aang would use Emolga as a nice reference to Momo. Also, I think a Torterra would be pretty fitting. And finally, Aang's ace would be the King of the Skies, Mega Rayquaza. Well guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. For my next compilation, I'm going to be making teams for Cartoon Network characters, so be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss it. Also, check out this video right here to see Ash's best Pokemon of each type.